Hi, hi, hi. So this is our 50th episode, and there was some lag before, and I did not want people who are going to watch this on IGTV to just watch me for the first 3 minutes. I think that would be really unfair to them. So I've just decided to start this again, and hopefully there won't be any issues. This time I've invited so. Yes, so your. Hello, hello, hello. Am I audible? Am I audible right now? Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Can you hear?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I'm not sure if
Hello?
I'm audible to you though.
Strange.
Such bad internet. Yes. Wait, I can see you properly now.
Okay, great. Let's hold this. Sorry about the
No, no,
technical
there's
issue.
no issue, no issue. Am I properly audible right now?
I'm just trying to hear you now. Keep speaking.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So am I properly audible right now? Thank you to everyone for
Hallelujah.
commenting. Okay, okay,
Okay,
perfect.
great.
This
Sorry everyone
so
for joining so late. Whoever's waited.
so no, thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, thank you everyone who's canceled and then joined again. That's thank you so much for that. So firstly, are you in Goa right now?
Yes, I live in Goa.
Right. I wanted to start off with that. That right now that you've been based in Goa for a while, and you aren't based in Mumbai, does that affect the work that comes to you? Does that affect the work that reaches you? And how's Goa been in terms of work compared to Mumbai?
Well, it's been an interesting shift, mainly because you know, out of sight is usually out of mind in our industry. So knowing that I moved here, uh, I moved here for health reasons at one point in time, and then when I recovered, I just felt like, it's a quality life, uh, so I decided to stay here, and yeah, it has affected my work. I don't get as many job offers as I used to get, but I get the job offers that really want me, that really need my skill set or need my expertise or my sensibility actually. And the good thing about living in a place like Goa, I think people generally here they value their own lives, their sleep, their food, their music. Work is a part of their lives, but it's not like in Bombay where it can be the primary driving factor. So that vibe only is different. Plus, the cost of living here is cheaper. So
Right.
I don't need to, do such big volumes of work. I can live very well, and then one can focus on the quality of the work, and I think that has been working out really well.
Right, right. But I also want to ask, how does that affect your productivity? Like a place like Goa, a lot of times it can change the way you work. Also, it can, or not just about where you are living, but just depending on the place where you're living, a lot of things that you write, a lot of things that you create, they change, right? At least like for writers. Do you think that affects the way you write also?
But knowing that if I start writing at 8 in the morning, by 4 o'clock I can reward myself with a swim on the beach, I think that will definitely affect the productivity. The early morning walk that I take to the backwaters near my house, I think that clears my head, clears my mind. The fact that my doorbell is not ringing with 100 walas, this wala, that wala, ye wala, wo wala. Uh, people are not calling me all the time for meetings. अरे स्क्रिप्ट का ये मीटिंग करना है, ये मीटिंग करना है, बॉस आए हैं, इसके लिए मीटिंग करना है, इसके लिए मीटिंग करना है, एंड जनरली मीटिंग मीटिंग में वो काम कहीं पे वो अफेक्ट कर जाता है उसको. सो या ऑल दोस थिंग्स आई थिंक
Right,
डेफिनेटली.
that's true. So I want to ask you that when and where did your romance with films begin? How young were you? Because you were very young when you started out. So how long before that did you start falling in love with films?
I was born into film, so to say. I don't come from a film family, but my dad, who was a cabin crew with a leading airline, so he is still a real film aficionado. He's crazy about cinema. And his cinema has this, like, he loves Bombay to Goa and Padosan, they're among his favorite films, but he loves Akira Kurosawa and Satyajit Roy's films, as well. So I was exposed to the cinema of Ray, the cinema of Kurosawa, the cinema of Guru Dutt very, very early on. And just seeing his passion, I myself wanted to be part of such a world. And the funny story is, actually, it's a very cute story. My dad, once he was flying, he was operating a flight, I think, from London to Bombay. And Satyajit Ray was on the flight. This was 1977. So my dad, like he's done with everyone, with Kishore Kumar, with Asha Bhosle, with Lata Mangeshkar. Whenever he's met them, he's sat with them, sung with them, you know, in the galley, that kind of a thing. So he was talking. He had a long, long conversation with Satyajit Ray about his favorite films and that, the films that Dad was influenced by. He learned Bengali from Ray's films. So Papa landed in Bombay and came home. My mom was pregnant at the time. They decided to name me Apurva, based on Apurva from the Ray trilogy, the Apu trilogy. So I was born, in a sense, from cinema.
Right. So wow, you were named after the Apu trilogy. That's wow. I didn't. Although I tried to read whatever I could, I had no idea about this. And I also then want to ask you which were the defining films while you were growing up before Satya happened. Which were the defining films for you?
Uh, you know, one of Ray's, since we're still talking about Ray, one of Ray's films is made a fantasy film called Gupiga and Baga Bayan,
Yes.
which is about these two idiots who get lost in this enchanted forest. And so I love that film. I love Jane Bhi Do Yaro. There was a film called Fiddler on the Roof, starring Topol, which was based on a stage musical. And I love that. There's a song, Matchmaker, Matchmaker, make me a match. So I used to sing that a lot around the house. There are so many Padosan, Bombay to Goa, Mehmood's films, you know, those comedies. There was this film called Murder by Death with a host of interesting actors like Peter Sellers and David Niven and Maggie Smith, and which was a spoofy movie and all those murder mysteries, with Poirot and Agatha Christie's characters and all those famous detectives. So they made a really amazing. So Alec Guinness was in it and stuff. So yeah, so it's a real mixed bag. The kind of films that I did like.
Right, right. So how did Satya happen? How did that how did that come to you? How did you become a part of it? And what was the process of it?
I was really lucky, to get Satya. I used to do promos for films. I actually started in college. I always knew that I wanted to get into this field, but I always thought I would be a director because in school and college I used to write plays, I used to direct plays, and that's I would love to do all the extracurricular stuff. In Jai Hind College, I was always in the canteen or in the hall discussing stuff, planning the new project. And by virtue of that, they would let me continue because I did that, with a lot of passion. The principal really loved me. He would always call me to MC, and I was the same guy who would be blacklisted for not attending One second.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. I would also be on the blacklist from time to time for not attending college, but then they would say वो तो हॉल में था, वो तो रोट्रैक क्लब की तैयारी कर रहा था, वो तो मेरे लिए एमसी कर रहा था. So it started with that. Then I got an opportunity. I won a contest that I only created, and then I got a chance to meet a lot of people who were in the business. Channel MTV was just starting out at the time on a 2 hour band on Darshan and stuff. So one of the judges was doing a show for them called BPL OA, which was a very big hit back in the day. It was the first countdown show of India. Starred Neelam, Manu Agarwal, and all these people. And so I got an opportunity. I said to him, I want to work with you. And Sunil Sajwani was the producer. He said, Chalo, aaja. And that's how I started. And I started doing promos for movies. Because in the editing room, I felt like, a lot of magic happens there.
Right.
You shoot, you have the opportunity to make it right or make it better in the editing room.
Right.
So I used to do this thing called the masala. They used to do this thing called the masala mix, which I kind of shadowed on and learned, where they would take like a Govinda song and cut it to, a Michael Jackson song. So it's a video, Govinda's video, and Michael Jackson ka audio hai. Usko lip sync kiya, uske moves kiye, kaate. So that's editor's magic. So that was my training ground. And then I started doing promos. And the first promo I did was a film called Khamoshi by Sanjay Bansali. That was a lucky break. And those promos did very well. And then I started doing more and more. That's how I met Ram Gopal Verma, who was doing the promos for his film called Dord, which he was also cutting simultaneously. On that, we vibed so well. And I was like sure that I said that, this man I want to work with by hook or by crook. I knew I was very clear very early on that this is what I'm born to do, literally born to do. So I started to, work day and night to impress Ram Gopal Verma. And he kind of loved my work. And then he said, Chalo, edit mein aa jao, I'm editing my film. So I edited on something called Steam Back. Oh wow, Anvesh, I read that compliment. Thank you. So on Dord, I got a chance to kind of work on the songs, O Bhavre and all these songs. And, he would ask me for suggestions and I would give him suggestions. And then one day while dropping me home, because he lived in Versova and I lived around there, he suddenly said to me, he said, I'm doing this gangster film. Because that was the time in Bombay where we were under a lot of film industry was under attack from the underworld. And he said, this is what I'm like. I said, oh wow, Ramuji, it's a great idea. You should edit on Avid. Avid was the system I worked on, which was non-linear. We digitized the rushes. And Steam Back used to be literally cutting on film, which Dord was being cut on. And no Hindi film had been cut on Avid before that. And so I was trying to tell Ramuji, take a chance, like do it on this. And the man really, Maverick, he would really take a chance. Thank you, Yash, about talking. We'll talk about my love story on another platform. So we kind of, he said, okay, yeah, I don't mind doing it on Avid, but I want you to edit the film. So I was like, what? So he said, yeah, no, I want you to edit the film. I said, me? And I'm in the car, I can't even look behind to think who is talking to you. And it was literally, if I'm there, that's how it started, and I got to edit Satya.
Wow. And you were given the biggest of awards that year for the first film you probably edited. Can you wait? Am I not audible?
No, I can hear you. Huh?
Yeah. So you were given all the awards that year for the first film that you edited, and it was one of the most defining films of that decade, and probably of Hindi films altogether. Like, when I watched it, it felt I watched it probably 10 years after it had come out, and it felt as fresh even then. So, about Satya, did you ever know that okay, a gangster film like this would actually reach out in that way? Because till then, I think only Parinda had come out in that genre, which actually had reached people, but that genre, it wasn't a proper genre in Hindi films yet. So, did you have an idea that it can reach out?
I was too young, to have an idea about success and failure of films. It was a massive success for me because I'd become a film editor from, at the age of 19, actually 18 when he met me, when Ramuji and I met. So at the age of 19, you're going from college place to editing a film from the maker of Rangila and Shiva and
Wait, I think there's an internet lag. Just a second, guys. गोली लगने का सीन बहुत शानदार था, of course. Sure. Just a second, guys. I shall just invite again, and we shall continue from right then. No. Did he just disappear? Don't worry, he'll be back in a second. Okay, guys, I hope you all don't leave. So we'll be back in a second. Such horrible internet. No, is my internet also bad? And if that's the case with Sir, that's cool. I think internet is okay to be bad if you are that good an artist. So that's chill. Wait, Sir's back. Just give us a second, and we shall go live again with Sir. Goa has internet issues. Yeah, so I think that's the reason. So just stop blaming and okay, stop leaving. Hopefully, Sir will be back in a second. So, man, this. Okay, guys, you all will just have to just look at me for the next 30 seconds and you all will be able to see Sir in less than that, hopefully. So I hope you all don't leave. Is unable to join. Yes. Yes, I've sent a request too. I just got a notification saying is unable. Okay, yeah.
So terribly sorry, everyone.
No,
The
right.
funny thing is, Goa gets a bad rep for having internet issues. We have I think, the best internet, which is one of the reasons I moved here. And this is an aberration today. They started construction next door.
Right.
So there's some wires that are being affected. So yeah, let's hope this works.
So
where were we?
Goa has internet issues. So
I know. That's why I was quickly clearing Goa's reputation. It has great internet.
Perfect. So yeah, we were talking about how you just mentioned how you were very young to actually gauge that Satya would go on to become what it did, right? It is that defining film, but yeah, of course, nobody can. I think that's the case for most such films, right? Where it is a lot of your later films, you cannot ever gauge that it is going to do that because a lot of these films also have affected stuff, not just when it released, but a lot later. I think like whether it was Shahid, whether it was Aligarh, and I think even recently released Criminal Justice Behind Closed Doors will find more of an audience later than it does even now because these things stand because such things stand the test of time. But talking about you always wanted to be a director, right? And the music video that you directed also has this kind of a following, which when I was younger, everyone was crazy about the music video and the song, which is Tera Mera Pyar. So about that, I want to ask you that when you directed for the first time, is that what the kind of cinema that, or is that the kind of vision that you still have, or with age, with time, does that change?
So I'll answer your first question about success. It's a very interesting question, and I think we should definitely talk about it. The what is the measure of success? Okay, in terms of, let's talk about cinema, right? Was Jani Vido Yaro a successful film? When
No.
Jani Vido Yaro released, they kind of called it a flop. Sholay was called a flop when it released, and then I think they re-released it very soon
Yes.
after or whatever, and this film became, I think, the mother of all hits. You know, um, Satya, when it released, became an instant hit.
Right.
When I say instant hit, it's like what they consider a box office hit as well, a critical hit as well. You see, it was able to get both these, and it's very rare that a film gets both these. A film like Shahid got critical acclaim, won national awards, for best actor, for best director. We won a national award for best. No, we won a screen award for writing. Won a Filmfare award for Raj's acting. You know, so but the film got 12 people in cinema halls per day per show or something like that, right? But the film was the most successful film on Netflix, UK, and Ireland. Most successful Indian film. See, how do you measure this? A film like Aligarh, again got few numbers on seats. Maybe a little bit more than Shahid, ran a bit longer because the director and the cast and the crew had already proved themselves. But in terms of what the film did, in terms of changing perceptions, in terms of discussions in the media that were not happening about the LGBTQ.
Right.
It was invited to British Parliament. I was invited to British Parliament. This film was screened there and talked about why this law that they left in 1947 they left behind is still applicable when it's not applicable to them. It was quoted in the Supreme Court judgment, against 377 in 2018. Critically acclaimed. So how do you gauge? Criminal Justice, I will correct you, is an instant hit. And when I say a hit, it has been acclaimed in terms of its reviews, and also in terms of numbers, it has done unprecedented viewings for OTT, which I think is bigger than most other shows of our time today. And that is a shock to me, because I thought that this would be counted in the same breath as Shahid and Aligarh, because it deals with a very sensitive issue.
Right.
But now it makes me believe that if Shahid and Aligarh had released directly on OTT in this point in time, it may have found, because there are some films that are uncomfortable to watch on the big screen in a crowded cinema hall, where people are basically coming with popcorn and samosa and their children, and they're going to then roam the mall. You see, the whole setup to watch the film only is very different. Which is why I believe that shows like Patal Lok, shows like Criminal Justice, shows like Scam, all of these that can deal with more serious subjects, and cast like actors as opposed to stars. These are doing incredibly, incredibly well, and Bollywood is finding it tough to catch up the big stars on OTT. So it's nice that segregation is kind of happening, and everyone has their place. Yeah, what is your second question? I forgot.
No, my second question was about how it's been almost 20 years since Tera Mera Pyar happened, right? And that's probably the first thing that you directed, which we all were able to watch, and that was a very cute love story-ish thing in just 5 minutes. Has your vision in terms of filmmaking changed since then, because of whether it is age, whether it is time, do you want to make the same frothy stuff too?
Well, Tiramir, I tell you what, I like stories that are based on real life somewhere. That's my thing. Okay. Somewhere, if it reflects some kind of reality, I'm attracted to it. The thing with something like Tera Mera Pyar is that very few people know that it's based on a true story.
Oh,
It looks like fully popcorny and frothy. Of course, the popcorn we added, But for example, the couple meeting in the hall. Okay, the couple meeting in the hall. Now, don't laugh, but that's exactly how my parents met in 1976. When Sholay released, mom lived in Bangalore. Okay, dad was this Bombay boy. Okay, who who was in Bangalore to meet his brother, and he went to the cinema. Okay, and it was Sholay had become a hit by then. Okay, so he was standing in this queue, and he managed to get to the front. When my mom, from this really wealthy family in foreign car, stops with her friends, and they come and they say, there is, they're not going to get tickets. The show is going to be sold out. So somebody tells my mom, one of her friends says, go in front, ask somebody to buy a ticket. My mom is really pretty, So she goes to this single cute guy standing in front because he's the second guy at the window. And she says to him, could you buy our tickets? So my dad looks at my mom, says, of course. So he buys the tickets. My mom couldn't speak Hindi. So watching the film, they're sitting next to each other. My dad translated a lot of the film for my mom. And that's how they fell in love. So Tera Mera Pyar, Nimrat Kaur, we launched her in that video, and she was the most beautiful find, I feel, still is. Bhanu, I think, so beautiful, so cute and such a, lovable guy. So we lucked out on this cast because for me, it was also known to my parents, So will I do something like Tera Mera Pyar? Again, every story has its own energy and its own vibe. And they say, sur ko pagadna hai, right? So if you can catch the sur of the story, then you follow that very honestly. Now Simran as a film, did we were we able to make what we wanted to make? Maybe not. Something went a little off in the making of the film. But I'm still very proud of the film. I saw it only recently, I could see it for what it is. And I felt like the film, it's actually the bits that are working damn well. And it's nothing like Shahid, it's nothing like Aligarh, it's nothing like Satya, it's nothing like City Lights, it's nothing like any of the films that I have done. So that is the thing I feel, you catch the sur of the story and you stay true to it.
True. Talking about Simran, that's a film which I've really liked, and I've seen the director tweet recently and even before that, and doesn't seem to be in love with his own film anymore for various reasons. While I've been a fan of the film since it had come out, I wanted to talk about that where you're making a dark comedy in in a culture which doesn't exactly have a lot of successful dark comedies in the first place, right? Which is dealing with such serious things, but it's dealing with it in a way that you're laughing at the character and sometimes even with it, but mostly you're just making a joke on the same character. Do you think that because the actor had done a couple of characters like that before, which weren't even exactly like it, but just sounded like the same character, would have affected its fate?
I think, whether black comedy would be accepted, not accepted is a secondary thing. The first thing is to make a good and honest film. I think that is what we owe to ourselves as filmmakers. Thank you, Holy Soul Love. So I feel like somewhere in the DNA and in the way that we were making the film, there were three prominent players in the film. There was a director, there was the lead actress, and there was the writer, right? And I think we were all very excited to collaborate. But somewhere what happened was that I think the vision for what this should be started to change when the film started to get made. I think the lead actress, she started to go back to her own cinema and try to basically say that, that this is I have found success with similar films or with films in the past and with a female protagonist like a Queen or Tanu Vej Manu, which are beautiful films, extremely enjoyable. So I think Kangana was somewhere trying to make this in that mold, to play this in that mold, right? Now, was it written in that mold? Did the director visualize this in that mold? I think somewhere that synergy needed to happen. And for some reason, the synergy between these three prominent players did not happen during the making of the film. I think that's the fault of this. That's the mistake that was made. Not blaming anyone for it. I think we're way past blame, but just to understand what could have happened. So the film tonally was not consistent.
Right.
You know, and it is a sad thing because it had a lot of promise. You know, and a director has every right to you know, say that it was a mistake that him making the film. Maybe he's referring to other things that were a mistake and how the film was mounted. You know,
Sure.
so yeah.
Uh, so do you think in this kind of a case where a writer has a certain amount of stake, but it's never complete, at least in a lot of films, it's not the stake feels very incomplete. Do you think that that needs to change then for the vision to actually come together in the end?
Absolutely, it's a great question, my friend. So basically, you know, that's what I've attempted to do as an editor as well. I feel like an editor also needs a higher stake than he ever had. So you know, way back in when Satya released and stuff like that, I mean, I would go out there and talk about my craft and talk about the importance of editing. You know, whether people are comfortable with it or not, because you know, the more you value these technicians, you know, the more tomorrow in the editing room they will have some you know, power and strength to be able to stand and make their point. You know, unless you want somebody who can just bully and say नहीं इधर ही कट करो छोड़ो तुम कटर और joiner हो और कुछ नहीं चाहिए. You know, and many editors are treated like that. You know, I refuse to be treated like that. Not because I give myself too much importance, because I give the craft of editing a lot of importance in, you know, making a film. You know, so I feel like, you know, I can't do that, Swapnil. Sorry to interrupt, but I can't put it on a phone stand because the internet has gone off in the room where I have everything equipped. So I'm struggling with this, but bear with me. You know, so I feel like I did that as an editor, you know, and as a writer as well. You know, you're given a lot of love and importance while you're actually writing the film, and then when the film comes out, nobody actually would acknowledge the writer unless you stood out there and said, I'm the writer, this is what I have done, and I demand a certain kind of ownership. I'm a major stakeholder in the film, you know. So I started doing that with Aligarh. You know, whether it went down well, whether it didn't go down well, it was a secondary. It was very important to do that, you know. And with criminal justice behind closed doors, I realized that, and it was totally unexpected, you know, because you have really solid producers in people like Applause Entertainment and BBC, and you know, the cast, people like Pankaj Tripathi. They really treated me like a major stakeholder. The acknowledgement of my craft, of my work, right from the first day one, you know, from Sameer Nair when he started talking about the show and things like that. And I really felt like I've come home. Like this is the space, the OTT space. Because what it does is that, you know, tomorrow when you're creating a project, you know, you are able to hold on to the vision from the beginning to the end. It's very important. Because क्या होता है कि आजकल, you know, you'll have, they'll get one director in to do few episodes, another director in to do few episodes, then somebody else is editing the show. You know, there is a whole creative team that's making the show, really, really intelligent, creative people. But there are different people. Who is going to take ownership of it? You know, so one has to really stake that claim. And I think it's very important that writers are doing it today. It's very, very heartening that producers and actors and directors are giving writers their due finally. The media is not doing it. Still, they will not mention the writer. You know, very big film portals out there who have so many critics writing for them and all. They will always ignore the writer's name. I keep calling them out. Please, writer ka naam dalo. They write about Aligarh, whatever, and then they will not mention the writer. You know, they will say, Manoj Bajpayee ka ye dialogue was wonderful. Manoj Bajpayee ka dialogue likha kisne? You know, you're telling the director and stuff. It's great. I mean, these are, you know, they've made the film what it is, but the writer is also a stakeholder, you know, and they are not mentioning the writer. So till that happens, I will keep writing to them. Writer, whatever you think of me, it's important to do that.
Right. As a writer, you've also done two, like Shahid and Aligarh were two films which were both based on real people. So, I want to ask you, did you ever think that you owed them or their families or people who liked them anything when you were writing Shahid or Aligarh?
So with Shahid, I came in as a screenwriter at a later stage when already Hansal and Sameer Singh had done the groundwork. I was fortunate to be able to meet the families and stuff because we were shooting around there, and the film was being made very organically. But I feel like with that film, it was you still have a responsibility. When you see the fact that there are so many people who looked upon him as a messiah, you know, as somebody who was going to save them from being misunderstood, being wrongly imprisoned under stringent archaic laws like Tada and Kota, and this man was shot dead, you know, before he was 30, right? So there were people whose hearts were broken, who felt like the hope was snuffed out. There was his own family that couldn't make sense of it. So when you're handling such a film, when you're handling the screenplay, when you're handling the edit, when you're handling a character like that, I think that you feel really responsible because you know that all these people are watching you. Plus, there are people who didn't believe in him, people who thought that he was, not what they made him out to be, who poked holes at his, defense and all of these things. So I feel like, even with them, there needs to be a certain kind of a balance. You can't paint him out to be like a glorified hero, And with Hansal and that's the way he looks at things. He looks at things in a very balanced manner, you know. And that guidance was very, very, I think, important for me as an editor, as a cook screenplay writer, to ensure that we have a balanced approach where people are able to, at the end, take what they want out of the film. With Aligarh, we had a lot of, opposition from many of his family members of Professor Siras's family, because being gay in certain quarters, even today and then especially, was considered a real stigma, in the small towns and in the cities and stuff where they come from, you know. So they really did not want to support the making of this film. So to research that, and even Aligarh Muslim University, where Professor Siras had worked, because he had died under such circumstances, there was a lot of opposition as to how the university will be portrayed, how they will be portrayed. People were afraid that their secrets will be out, and those kind of things. But as many people as you find who would be against you doing such a film, there are also many people who will really go all out to support the telling of an important story and for justice to be served. A person who's been killed before his time, who stood for something, can live on when the story is told. And there are a lot of people who recognize that. So we got a lot of people who were able to support us as well. And yes, I think we did a very heartfelt job of staying true to the essence of Professor Siras. And Manoj Bajpayee, I mean, the kind of love that he brought to the character, he lifted it way above the script. People don't even know, the things that they add to the script to make us look good as writers. Like Pankaj Tripathi is done in Criminal Justice Behind Closed Doors. And the humility with which they'll say the writer, the writer. But, I think they really make us look very good.
Right. These were two films based on real people, and of course there's responsibility over there, but there's also real responsibility in adaptation, which was the case in Criminal Justice Behind Closed Doors, which wasn't. So the adaptation was fairly loose. Wait, am I? Have I lost you, sir? Hello? Just a second, guys. Yo, Walikar, thank you for your number, but I'll pass on my number and Shah Rukh Khan's in a bit. Just a sec. Man, but like, to be honest, don't write your number down here, bro. Same tech prob. Yeah, just a second. I've invited, so he'll be back right away. So, hopefully don't leave, huh? So we'll just be back. Yeah, he's back also. So we'll continue from right there.
And we're back.
Yes. So,
So responsibility.
yeah, so there's also responsibility in adaptation, right? Which was the case in criminal justice. Of course, it's a fairly like it's not a direct adaptation. There are a lot of changes over here, but it's still taken from the same story. So over there, what there are people who watch the British criminal justice and the season two of that too, and there are people who love it. So when you're adapting that, especially when it's been so long since that had come out and times have changed, it's in a different country, there are different laws. So, so how exactly do you adapt that?
Well, it's always very exciting. Like I told you, I love things that are based on true life. So when I heard the story of criminal justice, the first thing I could think about was our own domestic situations in India. You know, what is the role of my father? What is the role of my mother? What did I feel while growing up that was not fair, that was patriarchal? You know, what is the role of the woman in our society? So these are the things that it evokes in you. So if that is something that I feel strongly about, then I already know from the word go that what are the stories I want to tell within the story, right? The original Criminal Justice was a fantastic story. I mean, it is still what Anu Chandra's core story of murdering her husband and then starting trial, and not and being a victim through and through. You know, I mean, this has come from Peter Moffat's original story, which was, I think, written in 2007 or made in 2007 or 8 for BBC, right? Uh, but what has happened since then is that we as a world have kind of progressed in terms of women's rights and the position of women in our society. You see, the world post Me Too is a completely different world. The same character that I was watching, her name was Juliet in the original. Even though I appreciated the story and I was able to see it in the context, the show frustrated me at some point because I felt like we need to have more agency. Why don't we have more agency in the show? Why do women not have more agency in the show? And there are other characters that are stronger, but I still felt like in today's day and age, I think women would be far more empowered and far more confident to be able to fight this battle for Anu. So that was something that we were very mindful of creating around her. Those kind of characters. Like, for example, Ratna's character, which is Pankaj Tripathi's wife. Neither Pankaj Tripathi's character or Ratna's character exist in the original story in Criminal Justice UK 2, right? So to fit them within this and to make Tripathi the almost the Sutradhar or the character that you connect with, was itself a challenge. I mean, he's a great actor, you love him anyway, but to fit him within the story, was a challenge that our teams really worked really hard on ensuring we did right. Then to create a character like Ratna, who comes from a village, who isn't as educated as Anu, who doesn't have the language or the tools, but is so self-respecting. She still believes in the tradition of marriage and partnership and all of that, but she's never going to let go of her self-respect. So I felt it was really important to create such a character to offset an Anu. Because now in 2020, that's not going to fly. Just to have her as the hero, and I think Ratna for me is also a heroine, for want of a better term, of the show. Then Kalyani Mule's character, the Pradhans, Gauri Pradhan, that's another character where I felt like, we were able to bring a lot more to the narrative. Of course, we're backed by solid performances, which we really lucked out on. And another thing we added was that we added a lot of family characters, because in the original in UK, you're pretty much, we are very nuclear as a family.
Right.
A husband and wife, there will pretty much, that's their entire universe. So when they went to trial, when Juliet went to trial in the original, there was no family member of hers or of her husband, her dead
Right.
husband, standing there.
Right.
You know, in India that's not going to work. घर में नौकर चाकर होते हैं, लोग होते हैं, दोस्त होते हैं. They talk to friends, they talk to this. अनु का बाप है, ये है वो. So that added certain layers to the story. Deepthi Naval's character was added
Yes.
to the thing. Meeta Vashishth's character was added to the story. So the blending of these different universes from Criminal Justice season 1 that they had created, from Criminal Justice UK season 2, and the new ones that we have brought to the table was a real challenge and a very gratifying one.
Right. There's so the character of Pankaj Tripathi, which was also there in season one, which you had to carry forward. It was as loved in season one, right? There was a lot of probably that was the most talked about thing even when season one had come out. So to carry that forward, to make him enter exactly at the same point, right? In that also, I think it's the last scene of the first episode. In this also, is the last scene of the first episode when he enters. So even for that also, I want to ask you how to not keep it gimmicky, right? People might point out that it is in the same way. Of course, here you see him get married in in his introduction scene, but how do you make sure that it doesn't just to continue it from the same point get gimmicky, and you have to also continue it from the same vision as the writers of the first one, right? So how do you do that?
See, first of all, when they did season 1, they never anticipated that these characters will continue.
Right.
You get it? So it was the characters that the Pankaj Tripathi's character that you've seen in season 1 is based on characters from Criminal Justice UK. No, it's based on Night Off. The Night
Yeah.
Off, which is based on Criminal Justice UK, right?
Yes.
So they had a very definite uh, beginning, middle, and end to play with his skin condition and all of that. Wait, I'm going to go to another room because some cooking has started and oh no, the other room has a lot of noise. This is insane. Yeah. So this, I told you, some construction has begun next door just as our live started. So, with Criminal Justice, with their season 1, they basically were able to stay within a certain kind of a graph for Madhav Mishra, right? But they ended that arc.
Yes.
So in season 2, there was a challenge to continue that arc and also keep in mind certain quirks that the character had. Like, I couldn't give him certain things because they were already set, right? But the versatility of the actor, when you know a person like Pankaj Tripathi is playing it,
Yes.
you know that you can write some impossible things and he'll pull it off. Like, you can give him a young wife, get him married, and nobody's going to bat an eyelid, about it, So we were able to do that to create this whole new track for him. It's very exciting that it's become a franchise, and they called upon me as a writer to develop this into a franchise, to figure out how to do this. So I worked very closely with people like Sameer Nair, Siddharth Khaitan of Applause, who kind of were very, very keen to make this into a successful franchise. So they were very sure that they wanted to achieve this. They had a vision that I felt was difficult to achieve, but they entrusted me with how to fill in the blanks and get to that point. So we basically created this whole marriage situation for him, because in this one was able to also show that Madhav Mishra है तो बहुत अच्छा आदमी, intentions बहुत अच्छे हैं, but when it comes to how to treat your wife, he himself does not know. And those shades of grey you can't give a hero. You can only give a good actor.
Right.
Not somebody who's already a hero when the show starts and maintains his heroism till the very end, but a man that goes through the journey of becoming a hero, which today on OTT, you have actors, people like Pankaj Tripathi who will be able to pull that off. So how he treats Ratna, how he himself learns, and his learning impacts his understanding of the case and his own relationship with Anu Chandra's case. How he realizes that he needs to not empower, he needs to give Nikhat the lead, because only a woman will really be able to understand. And as a man, step back, and as an actor of his caliber, to step back and say, "Aap lead karo." You know, that you, I mean, we lucked out because we had Pankaj Tripathi, and that's why I could write something like this. I'm being very honest with you. Somebody else I would have feared would have come and said, "नहीं नहीं ऐसा कैसे कर रहे हो?" You know,
Right.
uh, and last submission to मुझे ही आना चाहिए. You know, but no, this guy gave it to her, yeah. You know, and also the first season, you're right. You know, people talked about Pankaj Tripathi. You know, he owned the show, but please, in this season, it's not just him. In this season, they're talking as much about Kriti Kulhari, if not more.
Yes, yes.
Kirti Kulhari has hit it out of the park in a role that you have nothing to, you got no words given to you.
Yeah. There are no
You know?
dialogues in the first 3 episodes. There's only she keeps just naming her daughter. The first 3 episodes,
Yeah.
there's nothing other than that.
It's one of the most challenging roles. You know, people are recognizing Ratna, you know, which is Khushbu Atre, you know, Kalyani Mule, you know, there are so many, Shilpa Shukla. I can just go on, you know, each one of these actors, you know, and I feel that is what, you know, is a very big deal, that the women have really owned this show.
Right. So there is a lot of conversation around us about gender perspectives, right? Like with about say films with women protagonists being made by male filmmakers. With you being a part of the LGBT community, when you made Aligarh, do you think that if anybody else you've written it, do you think that if no member of the community was a part of the project, would it still be made the same way, or do you think that for each and every story there is a gender perspective required in that case?
I definitely think that gender representation is really important in the cast and crew. I think that when you're telling a story specific to, a gender or sexual minority or any of these things, that you know, any kind of minority that is looking for representation, that does not have adequate representation in the mainstream. See, unfortunately, that's the world we live in. You know, there isn't. It is a heterosexual mainstream world, right? You know, it's a world where you can post pictures of you and your girlfriend. I'm paraphrasing. I'm just, you know, anyone can post of them with their girlfriend, them and their wife, them and their children, them and their house. But you'll hardly see that of a gay man and his partner. You know, of the home that they bought. Of that. That's the world we live in. So we are going through a time where people don't know what is the right thing to do or say, because there isn't enough information out there in our popular culture, right? So at least at this point in time, till we gain a better understanding and we are past this stage, you know, of an ostracization of a community, you know, I feel that is at this point in time, you require people from the community. Hansal did a great job with Aligarh. You know, he had someone like me who was, you know, who is a gay man, to write the film, you know, and he had other members of the community, somebody, you know, who is a trans man, somebody who is, you know, a bisexual woman, you know, somebody who is, I mean, of course, heterosexual people, you know, and these made up the primary crew of the film, you know. So I think that that's why, you know, you will see the kind of nuance and sensitivity in Aligarh, because it's not just the script that he's listening to, he's also listening to other perspectives on set, you know, and that's the reason it has a sensitivity. With criminal justice, I think they made a very informed, calculated choice to take me on board, because being part of a marginalized community, I kind of understand this patriarchal world. You know, I understand how it can stifle our voices, you know, and I feel like a lot of gay men are very in tune with what women go through because they identify closer. Women are able to be more empathetic to them all through their lives. Because the men, you know, when I was growing up, you know, my father's generation and all, they would be like totally like make jokes about it and be very homophobic. So you must understand, we grow up in an environment where there is so much fear to be yourself. Then your friends you're growing up with, the so-called, you know, all the straight boys and straight guys, the moment they know you're gay, they're like, being friends with him, what does this make me look like? What do people think? Oh, I put my arm around him. How does this make me look? Today it's different. Today, especially after 2018 and after all the films and all we've been making, today the world is different. There's a lot more comfort. Straight men and gay men are becoming friends. But back then in the day, we had no support structures. We'd be afraid to be part of groups where all straight guys are hanging out, right? So you must understand that, so a lot of gay men had those kind of relationships where women became their friends, where we understood their pain, we understood their stories, we talked about our stories and exchanged our pain, right, with each other. So I think on criminal justice that helped. Right now when we did a celebration of the show, all the women got together and I was the only guy in the group. Kirti was there, Shilpa was there, Kalyani was there, everybody was there, Khushbu and all of us. And they only called, I was the only boy they called. A lot of other boys got very jealous, But it's how it is, and I felt like a lot of straight men like Sameer Nair, the directors, Rohan Sippy, Arjun Mukherjee, they brought, it's a world where today I think men are a lot more sensitive and not afraid to show their sensitivity. And that's why so many men were able to do this with sensitivity. And I think that is something that is definitely worth applause.
Right. Finally, I also want to get to the fact that I've seen your social media and there have been, you are opinionated about various things and your opinions don't generally adhere to, say, just, you cannot exactly point out the leaning each and every time, right? Because so there are comments of people who actually follow you, who like you, but did not like your opinion on one thing. And that's been the case for a while now, as much as I've noticed. So with that, do you fear that by the end, with the entire cancel culture, right? From
What culture?
every end, cancel culture, where they just cancel a person, right?
Yeah.
Online, that okay, no, not this person, not he doesn't belong to us. So with that entire culture online, do you think that do you ever fear that okay, maybe both the sides might cancel me out?
My God, such an astute observation. I think about this all the time. See, I'm not right wing, I'm not left wing, I'm
Yeah.
not center. If I believe in something, if I see something that is wrong or unfair and needs discussion, I will bring it up, and I've been like this since my childhood, you know. So people get very confused, so I'll say something which a lot of right wing people will agree with, and suddenly I'll get a lot of right wing followers, who will, start saying wonderful things about me and retweeting me and all. Then tomorrow I will find something against that and I will say something which goes against their beliefs. Okay. And they will say, Dhoka, how did you do this? And I'm like, I'm not against you. I'm not for you. I love everyone. I genuinely do, my friend. I mean, I really believe that the only way forward is through conversation, through dialogue. I don't see the separation between you and me. This is the truth. I do not hold grudges at all, So for me, the thing is that there is something that we need to discuss. You might not agree with me, discuss it with me. Like for example, a lot of my liberal friends and stuff like that were hailing me till recently where I called out, a leading journalist, a film critic for his blind items, right? And I know that, I mean, it's not even personal against the guy. I'm trying to talk about a blind item culture, that I genuinely believe hurt Sushant Singh Rajput. Now, am I going in with the same people from, all the leading news channels that are going against Riya Chakrabarti and all of the nonsense? I hate the way she was witch hunted. And I spoke against that also, But the thing is this, I've been cancelled by my liberal friends. Something, my problem is that I will say it, where very few people will not see it, and people are afraid to even talk to me because उनके timeline पे उनके Insta life पे मैं कुछ बोल दूं and people then get them into trouble. You understand what I'm trying to say? Criminal Justice was not reviewed by some of the leading film critics. I have to put this on record. People who are my friends, people who I love, they quietly blacklisted the show. Some of the leading critics from leading film portals gave it the worst review possible. People told me this is because you spoke against their somebody who is the head of the Film Critics Association and all of these things. They are going to do this to you, you know. And I said at the end of the day, I said it's not personal against him. I was talking about blind items. And okay, if this is what is going to happen, it's going to happen. Can this at the end of the day silence a good story? That's what I'm concerned about. You say what you want about me. As long as the good story is told and as long as it becomes the kind of success that it becomes, you can keep blacklisting me, keep ignoring me. You know, I just want to keep telling these stories. That's it.
Do you ever get bitter because of all of this?
Do elaborate?
Do you ever feel bitter because you are it feels like there are people who are ruling you out of the race? Does it ever feel like, man, everybody sucks? You know what I mean?
No, no. I don't think any of these people suck either. And I mean this, you know, we belong to a herd mentality. So when I privately messaged many of these critics who didn't review the show, you know, they would tell me things like, oh, I'm not well, I want to do it, or I have too much work, or, अरे यार, पता नहीं मैं इनके लिए लिख रहा हूँ. You know, they've asked me not to write about it. People would tell me very honestly, you know, and these are the same people who I'm having discussions with, I'm going on for a drink with, you know. So at the end of the day, I don't think it's personal. See, if I took this personally, I would be a better person. You know, you look at my life. You know, I live in Goa. I go dancing 3 times a week. You know, I get my beach time. You know what I mean? I live my life on my terms. You know, I'm always singing. Look at my timeline. I'm posting songs. Does it look like a bitter person to you? You know, I'm doing the work I love to do. God is giving me successful stories, good producers. Somewhere I feel like, as a society, I feel like I need to hold a mirror up through my work, through my persona, and that's all I do. I hold a mirror up. You know, like I don't take it personally. I would appreciate if the people I'm holding a mirror up to don't take it personally too. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right. Makes sense. There's a comment saying he wouldn't feel bitter. Simran is an example.
What? What? What?
Someone has just commented saying he wouldn't feel bitter. Simran is an example. You know what we
See,
mean.
see. I mean, even now you hear me talk about Kangana. You know,
Yeah.
where everybody is shooting today. At that point in time, I was the villain. She was the hero when I called her out. These very same people, my liberal friends, were basically, you know, holding me responsible at that point in time. You know,
Yeah.
and I went through kind of a breakdown at that point in time. A bitter person not go through a breakdown, he'll hold it against. You know, I was like, no, but why are people doing this to me? Oh, it's cry. You know, but somewhere I kind of realized that this is the nature of the beast. You know, and today I kind of see her point of view. I kind of understand. I kind of understand that, you know, she has become a person who is angry. She's super angry, you know, and that anger is misdirected. It's coming out at everyone. Now what she's angry with, what she's not dealt with, you and I will never be able to figure out,
Hmm.
you know. So what I personally do not have, you will never see me saying anything nasty about her, about anyone. Some cheeky comments here and there to have fun, yeah, you know. But no, there is genuinely no bitterness, you know. I really believe in living my life with love, with forgiveness, with understanding, and you will see it in all my work and all my writing.
Yeah, I've seen you agree with her on a couple of things also on social media where you've like quote tweeted and said that you agree with her. This was a
That
few
your
months
what?
back. A few months back, you also seem to have agreed with her on a few things. So
Yeah,
it.
you know one thing I'll tell you. Okay, now suppose for example I'm on some so-called blacklist. What does the blacklist means? Okay, these are all these people that you want to be friends with. You want them to give you work. You want to write for them. You want to do whatever. Okay, and they are not liking Apurva. So meaning anything Apurva says and does.
Man, this was getting so interesting, and there was an internet issue. Don't leave. We are going to join right back from here. I hope. Yeah, I'm sure this will happen. This will be sorted in a minute, like the previous two times. So yeah, don't leave so that we can continue on the same point. Yes, I know it stopped. I'll just invite her again. Just a second. Yeah. Oops. Oh, man. Just a second. I know y'all don't just want to see this. There are people. There are like 7, 8 people who left. Please, I said wait for half a minute. Yeah, I know. Is y'all wouldn't want to just see me. Same, but I agree with y'all. Even I wouldn't want that. Even I would want to listen to so. And yes, he said when we can't leave when Apurva is on live. Yeah, so now he's coming back. So don't leave. He's back here in like 5 to 10 seconds.
Can you hear me?
Okay. So yeah,
Yeah.
you're saying.
So I was saying, so the thing is that you need to stick with the truth, man. You need to stick with, if Kangana is saying something that's correct, if Narendra Modi is saying something that's correct, you have to stand with the truth. If Rahul Gandhi is saying something that's correct, you have to stand with the truth. We have become this ridiculously polarized society where you are saying कि मैं इस club में हूँ, मैं इस club में हूँ. Like one cow, whatever the herd is doing, following, I will also follow. I will follow. You have to, I mean, at the end of the day, these are all your family, these are your brothers and sisters, these are your countrymen, these are your neighbors. This is your father, your mother in your own house will have completely different views. What are you going to do? Cancel them? No. This is a really serious subject which people need to think about. We need to have dialogue, boss. Dialogue ko mat khatam karo. Debate ko mat khatam karo. Apne groups, they talk about camps. When you talk about camps and nepotism and all of that, it comes from the same place, the same mentality. You're doing that on Twitter, you're doing that on Instagram, you're doing that on Facebook. Get out of these camps, open them up.
Right, that's true.
Say something fun. Ask something fun now. Come on, lighten it up.
No, that doesn't make sense. Because you've actually opened up dialogue on so many things, whether it was religion, whether it was homosexuality, whether it was mental health, and mental health in your work has been addressed multiple times, right? Whether it was criminal justice, whether it was Simran in whatever way it did, and although not directly, I think it was addressed in Aligarh too.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think slowly dialogue has opened up thanks to people like you who are speaking about it, and especially in work where where it's not mentioned. You know what I mean? I think that's where it gains more legibility, where people are like, okay, it does exist. Like there are mental health issues which existed in this character. There can be a reason, there cannot be a reason. That's based on different characters. But the fact that these are all treated like humans, I think a lot of us are grateful to people like you for doing that, especially now in the mainstream, where right now shows are the mainstream, right? Like like you mentioned, that criminal justice has gained that much popularity because it was a Christmas release. You know what I mean? It did come out during the Christmas weekend, and people celebrated that festive season by watching something this serious too and loving it.
Which is unheard of. You don't I was worried Christmas holiday time pay, you're putting in a show about domestic abuse, which deals with things like suicide and mental health and all of that. I was like, good God, what are they thinking? But yeah, people took on. I mean, it was amazing how they owned the show. Yeah.
Right. Finally, I'll ask you the 2 questions which have been asked out of the multiple questions that have come in. There are 2 which are very interesting. One is about you're directing a film with Manoj sir, and a lot of people have asked about that. That if you can tell us anything about that.
No, I can't tell you anything. We got delayed because of the lockdown. we would have been shooting. We would probably have completed by now. And now we'll wait for Manoj's dates, and for me also now, because Criminal Justice has come out. There's a lot of pending writing work, something very exciting that I'm working on. But the film with Manoj is important because it deals with another aspect of mental health, and it does it in a way which you can only do with a thespian like Manoj Bajpayee. You know, it does it in a humorous manner, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to that one.
Yeah. And one of my favorite comments was when we were talking about Tera Mera Pyar. One of my favorite comments was about how someone would like to see a gay love story like Tera Mera Pyar. And someone had, because I'd used the word froth, someone had said that they would want to see that in a gay love story in India. And I love that comment personally. So,
Yeah.
do you think that will change the perception even further in the mainstream?
It's a great question. So I am working on a gay love story as well, and I've pitched it to someone who seems to be really interested, and let's see what happens with that. Uh, the most important thing is this, that I personally, as an artist, I'm done with telling gay stories for the moment that are tragedies. You know, it was important to tell the world how the community has suffered, how it's been ostracized, and we did that. We did that with Aligarh. I was able to be a small part of it with Made in Heaven, where the protagonist also goes through, uh, you know, a gay protagonist goes through similar trials. I did a documentary called Outcast, on the, which was done last year, a beautiful documentary. Um, but today, I think I want to tell stories of celebration. You know, I want to tell stories of joy. We're an extremely vibrant community. We're an extremely talented community. There's a lot of song, a lot of dance, a lot of arts, a lot of creativity. There's some very hardworking people. People who are kind and generous, and because you've seen a life where you've been marginalized. So you naturally develop empathy and love for those others that suffer. So there's a lot of these stories that I think are ready to be told, and more than anything, the mainstreaming, like where these characters exist within a mainstream society, where they there are mainstream characters, there are heterosexual characters and homosexual characters that are part of a story, and their sexuality doesn't become the theme.
Right.
I think those are the kind of stories that I want to be part of now as well. And yeah, one frothy love story and all, of course, wo banta hai yaar. Yeah.
Of course. Perfect. This conversation has been so nice. I wish this wouldn't have to end, but it's been pretty long. I've taken a lot of your time. Thank you so much for this. I had a really good time talking to you, and I've really enjoyed watching your work over the years. From the date that I saw Shahid on the big screen, since then I followed your work, which was a great collaboration. And then of course Aligarh changed a lot. I remember watching it on the opening day of Mami. I think it was the opening film of Mami.
You were
Four or
there at
five
that
years.
screening.
Yeah, so I was there at that
It was
screening, and
amazing that at that Regal Cinema.
yeah, and that thing had us all. I think it was 1,000 people with goosebumps by the end of it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that felt great. And then, of course, when I recently watched Criminal Justice Behind Closed Doors, um, I loved the way that you were also pushed by the team, the way that I could see your name everywhere. And especially after seeing what all has happened, I love that there is such due credit being given to someone who's done such great work. So thank you so much for all of this. And this has been a great conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You're so loving and so nicely done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Real pleasure
So
being here.
this video shall be available on our IGTV for perpetuity, so you all can watch it whenever, and hopefully you all will enjoy. Thank you.
I hope it's not available in parts like it was done. It'll be
No,
one
no,
video.
no. No, yeah, it will be just one video. It's pretty long.
Yes.
It will be over an hour, but it's one video. So wherever Apurva sir has left, you all can just forward that bit, because that will just get me awkwardly trying to invite him. You all
Okay,
can
awesome.
But if you all are watching it on
Okay,
IGTV,
now I'll
so
see all the comments after I hang up. Chal.
perfect. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
bye. Bye. Thanks everyone for logging in. Thank you for all your questions.
Bye.